Hello, hello. This is Newton's laws of motion. Oh, did I ask you to solve this question last time? Okay. So I just want you to solve this question. How are you going to proceed in this 34th question? See, when we are starting, you have to be ready with all those things. Hmm. So how are you going to proceed in this? There are two blocks in each of the questions. Three different situations. I mean, three different questions are there actually. So you need to find the acceleration of both the blocks. How you are going to proceed in this? No, last time I told you know how you have to start doing these questions, how you want to do these questions, the way you have to proceed in these questions. Right. Okay. So if you see a 5 kg block, what are the forces acting on it? This in the question number A. If you see the 5 kg block, what are the forces acting on it? Okay. So you draw a free body diagram. So gravitational force is which side? How much? Okay. What is the force upwards? Yeah. What? Any other force acting on this body? You able to see the screen, no? Hmm? Hmm. What is the force acting on the block upwards? 5 kg is the weight of the block. Where is normal contact force here? The tension is there, right? So the tension is upwards. How it is 4g? Yeah, but how it is 4g? The tension, how do you know? Okay, that is okay. But how do you know that it is 4g? See, there is a tension acting T upwards, right? We don't know what this tension is. Understood? Now, this string is different. This string is different. Okay? Yeah, they are massless strings. Okay, so there is one string attached here, and there is another string attached to the 5 kg block. Okay. See, what you are doing in between here? You do not waste the time, no. I will not keep on teaching you all night. Okay, so you do not waste the time. When I'm telling you like we are starting the classes, you have to be present here. Okay. So see this block. What I had told you earlier is Whatever are there in the contact with the blocks, only those forces you have to consider. Whatever body you are considering, only that body if you are considering, you have to see what are the forces in contact with it, and plus the gravitational force, whatever the forces are acting on that body, those you have to consider. So with the 5 kg block, when you see, there is only one force acting downwards, and the other force will be acting on the due to the string. Okay, now there are two strings. So this is the second string, right? And this is the this one is different string. Understood? No, this is the different string. The one holding 5 kg block and the one holding 4 kg block are two different strings. Is it okay? So there will be different tensions among them. So both of the bodies will be having both of the strings will be showing different tensions. Okay, so we assume that this is tension T. So tension T is basically on this block. Okay, now if you consider the block 4 kg, so how you are going to do? So what are the forces acting? Okay, so only one tension upwards. So this will be, we will assume it T1, because this is different from the other one. Understood? No? And let's say we see, since it is going to move, we have to consider one direction in which the body is going to move. Okay, so let's say we consider, by basically seeing the figure, we think that the body should go downwards, right? So let's say that we consider the acceleration A downwards. All right, now let's see there, let's start writing the equations. Okay, so for this 5 kg block, this 5 kg block is going to go downwards with an acceleration A. Okay, and this is the acceleration A of 5 kg block, but we don't know the acceleration A of 4 kg block, because see, one second, this 4 kg block may be having a different acceleration altogether. We don't know the acceleration, we have to find it. No, we have just assumed it as A. Let the 5 kg block be coming down with an acceleration A. So what will be the acceleration of the block 4 kg? Yeah, the 4 kg block will be going upwards with what acceleration? No, we have to get it in terms of A only. No, let it be, plus minus sign doesn't matter here right now. So I just want to know the quantity what you are going to give it to. A1, A2, what you will be giving. See, let's say there is a pulley here, there is a block 5 kg here, and a simple 4 kg block here. So we know that if this is going upwards with A, and then this will surely go downwards with A, but this is not the case here. Understood? So the thing is, you have to see one thing, that when this pulley comes down, let's say the pulley was here initially. So when this pulley comes down a distance of x, how much of string is pulled? This much of string, no? See this portion of the string and this portion of the string. 2 times of this portion of the string is getting released for 4 kg block. You got it or no? So that means if 5 kg block is moving a distance x downwards, the 4 kg block will be moving a distance 2x upwards. Is it okay? You understood or not? This is very crucial. Okay, no? Because this pulley is having two ropes here. This particular block is having only one rope. So let's say this pulley has gone from here to here. So what is happening is, this pulley is stretching along with itself two times the string. So this is x and this is x. Understood, no? And the other block 4 kg is actually, this is 4 kg. So let's say the pulley initially has come from this position to this position, a distance of x downwards. So this particular block is attached with 2 times of string. No, now. So this much of string will be actually pulled downwards. Understood now? So that means this block is going to move up with 2x of distance. You got my point? Understood now? So by seeing the diagram, you have to verify that way. So you have to be very careful in these questions. So this is if we are assuming the acceleration of 5 kg block as A, the acceleration of 4 kg block will be 2 upwards. This is okay, no? So 5 kg block moves a little, the 4 kg will be moving with twice the speed. Understood, no? Okay. Now can you write the equations? So let's say for this one, if you write the equation for this, how you are going to proceed? The total forces is equals to mass into acceleration. That is the way we do. See, you have to be very serious, and like the problem is I lose my interest only because when I ask you something, no, you just come back to the very basics. You don't know how to proceed itself. So these things I have already told you that this way you have to proceed and this way you have to solve this question. So at least you should start something, but again you go back to the very basics. So I just lose my interest itself. So you have to be somewhat serious. Okay, so if I write the equation for this block, 5 kg block, how you are going to write? So this is your 5 kg block. There are two forces, one is down, one is up. The acceleration is downwards. So the total force is equals to mass into acceleration. Since the acceleration is downwards, we are going to write the forces in downward direction. So 5g minus t. This is the force in the downward direction. Right now, we are taking the one in the downward direction first. Understood? This is the force in the downward direction. That will be equals to mass into acceleration.
Yes, stand बताइए.
Alright. Now if you write the equations for the 4 kg block, how you are going to write? Right. So same this. No, same way you have to give total force. Yeah, you tell me. T1 minus 4g. Waiting. Okay. Now the problem is these two equations you cannot solve. Why? Because there is t in one and there is t1 in the other one. So the problem is we are missing something here. Understood? If it there are two strings, no? If it was one string, there was no problem because we would have assumed t only in both the cases. Understood? So what we have done is in this string we have assumed t1, and in this string we have assumed t. Now we have to find some relation between t1 and t. Then only we will be able to solve these equations. Understood? No? Now the thing is, no, I didn't do what? Yeah, this is full string. Yeah, this is separate string. This 4 kg one starts from here and ends here. All the way around the pulley coming up to here. Understood, no? So the thing is, this is a separate string and this one is a separate string. So between t and t1 we need to find some relation. Now the problem is we don't find any body like that. But see, this is the body which we have to consider now. The pulley also. Understood? The thing is, in this kind of questions, see, one thing was when you get little advanced, you could have directly taken that this t will be equals to 2t1. So that is another issue, but still I just wanted to tell you properly that how you are going to proceed in these questions and may not confuse you. That's why I have not written any relation between t and t1 directly. So I want you to find the relation. So the thing is, if let's say this pulley we are considering as a system. If we consider this pulley as a system, what is pulling it down? No, that's what I have told you always. You do not consider these things. Whatever is in the contact, only those. You don't want to go beyond that. Understood? No, whatever is in contact plus the gravity, only those things you consider. What is contact with that? There are two strings upwards and one string downwards. That's it. No 5 kg block here. Understood? So 5 kg block is not applying the force. There is acceleration also. So that equation will totally change. So we cannot write that the tension is 5g here. Okay, so we just have to write T. That is the tension. That is the force pulling it down. It's not the 5 kg. Understood? And this T will not be equals to 5g. From this equation itself, you can see that T is not equals to 5g. There is a 5a term also associated with it. No. T, that also I told you. T will be acting depending on the body. Okay. So if there are two bodies, and tension will always be in the opposite direction. If someone is pulling this body, if you consider this one as the body, the tension will be acting in this way. Understood? No? If you consider this one as the body, the tension will be acting in this way. Understood? This is the same string, and the same tension will be acting in the opposite direction. How? You only can think, no? What is pulling this block? What is pulling this block? The string is pulling. Yeah, that's what the tension is pulling it. What is stopping this block? The string is stopping it. Yeah, that's why the tension is in the backward direction. Understood? No? So you can just think in a different way that the tension will always be in the opposite direction, away from the body. You can think. Okay. Now in the upward direction there are two tensions. Right now there are two strings. So there is one tension 1 and there is another tension 1. T1, which we assume, no, upward direction on the pulley. Okay, and the mass of the pulley is 0. Understood? Because in the questions, basically, what we have to, most of the questions you will find, if it is not explicitly given, the mass of the pulley is considered to be 0 and the mass of the strings also. Okay, so since the mass is equals to 0, if you write the equation of this pulley also, so you can just write that T minus 2T1 is equals to 0 into acceleration A. That pulley is moving along with 5 kg block. Right now, so if the acceleration of 5 kg block is A, the acceleration of this pulley is also A only. So downwards, if we see the total force, T minus 2T1 is equals to 0 into A. That means T is equals to 2T1. So that only that's what I was telling you, that you could have derived this without unknowingly. Also, you could have just put this and solve the equations. But we don't want to confuse you. So I just wanted to, in this kind of cases where two strings are there. So if you see here, here also it will be the same. The T will be equals to 2T1 in this question also. Okay, so that way we can consider this will always be there. If mass was given for the pulley, no, I was considering the pulley. Okay, when you consider the pulley, it is downwards. Yeah, the pulley is massless given, but see, you can directly assume that T is equals to 2T1 here. But the thing is, once the mass of the pulley comes into picture, you need to solve it this way. Understood? Yeah, you have to put the mass of the pulley and there will be a different relation at all, totally different relation here. Right now? So now you know that the mass is, the T is equals to 2T1. You can substitute that 2T1 is equals to 5 into A, and this is your 2T1 minus 8G is equals to 16A. Okay, no? I just multiplied this equation by, understood? So this cancelled, and 5G minus 8G will come minus 3G is equals to 21A. Okay, now, okay, let's say we consider it as okay, we consider it as 10 only. So the acceleration is equals to minus 30 by 21. That means whatever we have selected in the beginning, that's not correct. That's not correct. The direction of the acceleration is not correct. Understood? That means this 5 kg block is going upwards and the 4 kg block is coming downwards. Understood? So this is like after solving only we are getting. You just see the answer once. Okay. Yeah. 1 second. So this is 1 second. It is in terms of g, no? So that's correct, right? So this is 3, 7. So acceleration is equals to minus g by 7. Okay? Minus g by 7 acceleration. So what is given? It is given, and no, what is the answer given? Minus g by 7. G by 7 upwards and 2g by 7. Okay. Okay. Now, so that's the thing. 2g by 7 is the acceleration of what? 4 kg block. We assume no 2a. We got it no 2a. So we assumed it upwards. The acceleration value is coming in negative. That means whatever we assumed for 5 kg downwards was actually 5 kg is going upwards. And the 4 kg is coming downwards. Is it okay? Why? It will happen. No, there are two tensions acting on the 4 kg block. See, if it was a simple 4 kg and 5 kg, then it is okay that this will come downwards. But there are two strings attached. Yeah. So basically 2 times the force is getting acted on it. Understood, no? Huh? No. See, the thing is, in the general case, why you are getting confused is because you know that the 5 kg block is heavier and it should go down and the 4 kg should go up. That is okay. But the thing is, same forces are acting on both of them. But here it is not the case. Here we have wrapped the string 2 times for the 4 kg block. So whatever is the tension getting on this string is doubled for 5 kg, right? So the 5 kg is getting pulled twice with the force. Similarly, if you round it up more times, again that 5 kg weight will be very less. 5 kg will have its influence very less. Understood, no? So this is not a fair play that 5 kg should go down. So there are 2 strings here, so that the overall pull of on the 5 kg block upwards will be doubled. Actually, you understood, no? Okay. Now what about the second question and the third question? We will not solve it fully. So what we'll do is we'll just ask you what are the forces acting on the blocks. So what are the forces acting on 5 kg block? Okay, this is we will take it 2t directly. Okay, we'll assume t here. Okay, no, that is half of it. So we assume this is t, and this is 2t, like that. Understood, no? So on the 5 kg block, it is 2t upwards. Okay, and 5g downwards. What about this? What is pulling this 2 kg block? No, gravitational force is there, but yeah, that's what. So we do not consider also this because this is balanced by the normal contact force, and the movement of the body is perpendicular to that direction. So we do not consider those. So the forces acting on this is only T. Understood? So you have to solve this question. Now the thing is, what about the acceleration? So if you assume if you assume the acceleration of 5 kg block A downwards, what will be the acceleration of this? Yeah, how much? A or 2A or 3A, how much? Or A by 2? No, just think, no. If this is moving a distance this pulley is going to move distance, 2 times of string will be pulled back. So this will be pulled twice. Understood, no? So this will be 2A. Similarly, you tell me here, this one, which one will, this. Yeah, anyone you can consider, not an issue. So let's say this is 1G downwards. Okay. So this is, let's say this will be 2T. Yeah, the acceleration you are assuming downwards. See here we can directly assume that this is downwards. That depends on you. You can take any direction and you have to solve it and get the answer whether which one is going up. We don't know. After solving only we will come to know. Yeah, the minus sign will indicate that whatever we have assumed is actually in the opposite direction. Understood, no? No. If let's say you assumed A in downward direction and A got a negative value, let's say 5 meter per second square, that means that whatever you assumed A to be, the value is 5 meter per second square, but it is in the upward direction. We assumed in a negative direction, in the opposite direction. Understood? You assumed in A in the downward direction, then it is in upward direction. If you assumed in upward direction, then it is in the downward direction. The direction. If negative sign comes, yeah, that simply means that we assume the direction of the acceleration opposite. Understood? Then you have to solve this question. So you both of these two questions you will solve. Understood? No, B and C you will come with an answer. You understood? Okay. So we'll see some other question here. Now I'll tell you something about this pseudo force. Yes, this is kind of a false force, but the thing is we have to use it a lot of times. Yeah. See, actually, we learned that the Newton's laws can be applied, no? So exactly. So Newton's laws can only be applied in inertial frames. So Newton's laws basically means we are dealing with directly with this force, this equation mostly. Okay, so this is applicable only in inertial frame of reference. Understood? So inertial frame only this equation can be applied. Now the problem is not all questions you will get an inertial frame. Inertial frame means we can see. Truly speaking, Earth is also not an inertial frame. If you go into space and see Earth, then again the Earth is also moving. If you go into your galaxy and see your solar system is also moving. So, but we are so small that we can consider Earth as a inertial frame for our references. Okay, because the experiments or the questions what we are going to get is very small in terms of the whole size of the Earth. So we may not consider that it is not in a non-inertial frame, but we can assume that it is an inertial frame. Okay, right? No. Now the thing is, what will we do when we are working in a non-inertial frame? Okay, so how to work in a non-inertial frame? So let's say you are inside some elevator, and then you have to work. So sometimes what happens, no? It is very easy to get the equation solved or get the answer in a non-inertial frame rather than seeing it from outside. Sometimes in the questions, some questions will be given in such a way that it will be easy for you to calculate the acceleration or whatever the question is uh, with respect to some other frame, with respect to a non-inertial frame actually. So we need not do the calculations in terms of the inertial frame. So, but how will we apply Newton's laws in a non-inertial frame? That's what we are looking about. So we'll see something like this, like see, okay. No, no. If a train is moving, if a bus is moving, understood? No, that will be considered as a non-inertial frame. Okay, okay. And when I say moving, that means moving with an acceleration. Constant speed bodies will be considered as an inertial frame only. If with respect to an inertial frame, some body is moving with a constant speed, then that body is also an inertial frame. Understood? See, uh, let's say there is this is a man standing. Okay, this is a man standing. Okay, this is ground. Okay, and this is a bus moving with a constant speed v. There is a man standing inside also. Okay, so the thing is, this is moving with a constant speed v. So if it is an inertial frame, this is also an inertial frame. Okay, now, so if this is having an acceleration a, then this will be termed as a non-inertial frame. If there is an acceleration of the body, then only it will be a non-inertial frame. If it is moving with a constant speed, constant velocity, then it is not a non-inertial frame, it is an inertial frame only. Okay, constant acceleration or whatever acceleration may also be differing, but it should not be velocity constant velocity. Yeah, if it is a constant velocity, then your body is still a inertial frame only. Understood? So yeah, no. See, if it is a velocity, if it is a constant velocity, then it is an inertial frame. See, this is a bus. If someone asks whether the reference with which this person is looking, with the reference of bus, right? So, is he looking from a inertial frame or a non-inertial frame? And if I tell that the bus is moving with a constant speed v, there is no acceleration, that means there is no change in velocity. So if it is like that, then it is an inertial frame. If someone says that this bus is moving with an acceleration a, then the reference of this bus will be called as a non-inertial frame. So for a non-inertial frame, there has to be an acceleration. Understood? No, acceleration with respect to some inertial frame. Understood? So if it is moving with a constant speed, then that is also an inertial frame. No need to worry. Okay. Newton's laws can be very well applied from this bus also, if it was moving with a constant speed. Okay. Now the thing is, let's see the question. Let's say there is an elevator. Let's say there is an elevator. This elevator is moving upwards with an acceleration a. There is a man standing on the ground. There is a man inside the elevator also. Okay, and he is observing a block. Okay, or whatever it is. Let's say he is observing a pulley or something. Whatever is the system, he is observing something. Okay, so if for this man, this mass, let's say the mass is m. So how is this man going to apply the laws of Newton's laws on this body? If he writes the equation, how he is going to write? What we'll do is he will tell that there are only two forces acting. If this person is applying the Newton's law, so what he is going to write the equation for? He will tell that there is a mg acting downwards and there is a normal contact force acting on this block upwards. And when he is applying the Newton's laws, what he is writing is n is equals to mg. Right now, that's what he is writing, because it's not moving with respect to him. What he is finding is that the acceleration is equals to 0, because it's not moving with respect to him. No, acceleration is 0 with respect to this person. Now let's say this person is looking after this block from this person. This person is looking after this block. Okay, and let's say the elevator is made up of a glass, so he can see through the glass, and he is looking after this block of mass m. Then what he is going to write the equation? How he is going to write the equation? He will write that there is two forces acting. One is downwards mg, and the other one is upwards normal contact force. And he knows that he sees that the block is moving upwards with an acceleration a. Then he is going to write the equation as n minus mg is equals to mass into acceleration. Right now, this is also correct, and this person also feels that this is correct. Okay, but the thing is, this is wrong. Okay, so this cannot be applied here. So since the Newton's laws can be applied only with respect to a inertial frame, so this person doesn't know that, and this person is applying it wrongly. So this is wrong, and this one is correct. Okay, because he is seeing with respect to an inertial frame. He is seeing with respect to the ground. All right. Now the thing is, sometimes questions will be somewhat like you have to apply Newton's laws with respect to some non-inertial frame. Then what you are going to do? Okay, so here comes a way. This is actually a workaround. Okay, so there is no such kind of a force called pseudo force. Okay, so this is just a workaround to match these two equations. Understood? No, how to match these two equations? This is just a workaround. So when we are working with a non-inertial frame, can we do some kind of changing the equation or something, just add on to the equation so that both these equations match? Understood? So for that, here comes into the picture, which is called as a pseudo force. So pseudo force is a false force. There is no such kind of a force acting. We just apply this force on the body when we know that we are actually standing in a non-inertial frame. Understood? Then we apply this pseudo force so that our equation becomes true. Our equation becomes correct. Okay, so when you are in non-inertial frame, what you are going to do is you are going to apply the pseudo force. So the person in the elevator, what he will do is, but only in non-inertial frame. So only in non-inertial frame, the pseudo force will come into picture. Understood? So you will find this pseudo force again coming when you study circular motion. You will be studying centrifugal force and centripetal force. So the one of the forces which is acting outside the circle, we assume that this is the pseudo force. This is called the centrifugal force. Okay, since we know that the acceleration in a circular motion is towards the center, we apply it in the opposite direction. That is the pseudo force. That pseudo force is called as the centrifugal force. Okay, just don't worry about that. Just see this. So the person in the elevator applies the Newton's laws again. What he will do is he will apply the same kind of forces. Okay, and he will apply one extra force on this, which will be equals to mass into the acceleration of non-inertial frame. Understood? Yeah, the acceleration of non-inertial frame in the opposite direction. Yeah, so what you have to do is you have to apply the pseudo force in the opposite direction of the non-inertial frame acceleration. Okay, see this so basically what he is going to do is he is applying normal contact force upwards, mg downwards, and m into acceleration of the the elevator downwards. No, no, minus. You need not write minus. No, you have already given the direction here in the opposite direction. Understood? See, the thing is this force is having no relevance. If you see, this is mass of the body, but this is not the acceleration of the body. Understood? No, this block may have been moving here also somewhere. Like some force is there, some force is there, something, or maybe this fellow itself is pulling. So overall, the acceleration may be in a different direction itself for this mass. But this force has no meaning at all. See, mass is of the block, acceleration is of the frame. So that's why it's called a pseudo force. That is a false force. It's just applied for him to make the equation equivalent to the other equation. This equation and this equation are same now, right? The acceleration is still zero. There is no acceleration here. Understood now? For this particular body, for this particular person, if he is seeing this block, there is no acceleration. But for him to apply Newton's laws, he have to apply a pseudo force on this body, and that pseudo force will be equals. It will be in the opposite direction to the acceleration of the non-inertial frame in which he is sitting. So if the non-inertial frame is moving upwards, this m into a will be downwards. Okay, got it? So this is what is called the pseudo force. When we apply this kind of forces in a non-inertial frame, when we are trying to use this Newton's laws in the non-inertial frame, then we have to apply this Newton forces. I mean this pseudo force on the body. Okay, and that pseudo force will be in the opposite direction to the non-inertial frame. So see, if you see this 42nd question, okay, no, this 42nd question is not that one, because this is actually moving with a constant speed, no? So this is not a... Okay, 41st question we'll see. See this question. A car is speeding on a horizontal road with an acceleration a. Okay, so now this is a case of a non-inertial frame, right? Okay, understood now? Okay, so the ball is suspended from the ceiling through a string and is maintaining an angle of a constant angle with the vertical. So the thing is, there's a car moving with an acceleration a. There is a string. Okay, there is a string. This particular string is actually, yeah, it is suspended through a car ceiling, and this is making an angle theta with the vertical. Understood? No? So okay, find this angle. You need to find this angle a, angle theta. Understood? So how are you going to find? You don't know. Assume it. You will get the way to cancel it. Something will come. Don't worry. So now the thing is, there you can solve this question with respect to this person. Better we will solve this question with respect to this person. Understood? No, because this is very hard to visualize from this person's perspective, right? Because this is moving also. This is at an angle theta also, and this is also moving in this side. Understood? That's why we use non-inertial frame reference sometimes to solve questions, because it is very easy to analyze the question with respect to this person. Understood? No, because that is very simple. No, there is nothing acting, and there is a mass mg here, there is a tension force here, and this body is not moving. Okay, so basically this body should move if this kind of forces are there. So he has to apply a pseudo force in the opposite direction that will be equals to m into the acceleration of the non-inertial frame. Understood? No? Got it? So with respect to this person, so there are three kind of things. This body is at rest, so there is no acceleration of this body. There is tension here. This is angle theta. So this will be angle theta. Okay. This is ME in this way, and this is mg in this way. And what is happening is there is no acceleration. All the forces should cancel out. Okay, so how do we cancel out forces here? There is no acceleration on this ball. No? With respect to this person, we are assuming with this person. No, that's why you have applied a pseudo force here. If you would be assuming with this person, then the thing is the same forces will be acting in a different way. Tension and mg, and there is an acceleration in this direction of a on this ball. Okay, so we'll not use this. This is also simple only in this case, but things may get complicated if you are using inertial frame of reference sometimes. Understood? So what we will do is we'll use this non-inertial frame itself. There is a person sitting, let's say there is a person sitting inside the car itself, and he is observing the ball suspended. Okay, so since it is suspended and since he is already sitting in a non-inertial frame, he has to apply a pseudo force. Okay, so all these forces should cancel out, right? Because the ball is not moving with respect to this person. Okay, so what will happen is the force in this direction is t cos theta. Understood? No? And in this direction is this is t sin theta. Okay, so what I had told is with whatever where the angle is being made, that will be cos, and the opposite side will be sine. Okay, so this t sin theta should be equals to ma, and this t cos theta should be equals to mg. No acceleration, all the forces should cancel each other. So this t cos theta in the upward direction should be equals to the downward direction force. This ma should be equals to this direction force, t sin theta. Understood? When you divide these two equations, this m is getting cancelled. No need to worry about this m. No need to worry about this. So the tan theta comes in terms of a by g. So theta is equals to tan inverse a by g. See the answer? Okay, got it, no? Now you see the second question. Yeah. No, with respect to the same situation, same. Yeah, it is inside the car only. Because if you keep a block on a smooth incline, it is going to fall down. They are saying it's not slipping at all. There is no friction also, no? There is no friction, they are saying. You have not started the friction chapter itself. They are saying it is a smooth one. Understood, no? So if you keep a block on a smooth incline, it's going to slip. But it's not slipping at all. Yeah. So there is a car moving. Okay, there is the same situation. That there is an incline also there. Huh? What? No, I didn't get you. No. It may not slip, no? Just think of a situation. I give you not inside a car, but I give you a situation like this. There's a block here. This is going to fall down, right? This is going to slip. I ask you to just pull this triangle, this incline very fastly this side. You will find that this is not moving down. Understood, no? It happens, right? What you do is you can hold a coin in your palm make your palm vertical, it will fall down, right? If you hold a coin on a palm and make your palm vertical, the coin is going to fall down. But if you move your palm very fastly, the coin will be staying on your palm itself. You understanding? Understanding? No. You can hold some. You hold anything on your palm. Open your palm. Hold anything. If you make your palm vertical, it's going to fall down. But just let's see that whatever you are holding, make your palm vertical, but move your palm very fastly. No, it won't fall. There has to be a minimum speed, minimum acceleration there. See what is happening. No, I'll tell you one thing. Okay, just don't think of your palm thing. That will also work. It has to be very fastly. If you move this with an acceleration a, this block will stop from falling. And one more thing I will tell you: if you move it with much acceleration, it is going to go in the opposite direction also. You can just try something. Make an incline. Let's say, huh, much faster speed, it will go up. Yeah. See, if this is the incline, and if you keep the block, it is going to fall downwards. But if you move this incline faster in this direction, yeah, with the horizontal direction, if you're moving in the horizontal direction, this block may hold from falling down. It will initially slow its speed, and later on, what will happen is this block will topple from this side. Understood? So, huh? No, 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 nothing, no wind. This is related to inertia actually. So the inertia, what happens is this block tries to remain where it is, maintain its inertia. Okay, you're not able to imagine it. So what you can do is you just think, just do one thing. Take a notebook and put a coin on it. Okay, make such an angle. I mean, if you make an angle, it is going to fall down. So make such an angle, it's just about to fall. Okay, now at the same angle, you try to move it in the direction of the incline. In the direction of the incline means this is the incline, no? Okay, this is the incline. If you are taking the book here, you have to just, so you will be holding it in your hands here. So you have to push the book in this direction itself. Okay, so what you will see is the coin is not falling at all. And if you are pushing it with a very high speed, the coin will fall from the opposite direction. Understood? Okay. So now the question is, this is your incline, this is a block of mass m. Okay, let's say this is the angle theta. This angle theta only you have to calculate. Okay. Now, yeah, let's make a person here. So this person is actually saying this. So once you apply the forces, let's see what are the forces we are going to apply. Mg downwards, there is a normal contact force upwards. Huh? Incline, मतलब inclined plane. No, no. Yeah, inclined planes and all, everything comes under this Newton's laws only. So all are, we did not separate all those chapters like that. Are you sending a video call? Okay, okay. Okay. So You understood, no? So now see this. What you are going to do is you are going to apply a pseudo force in the opposite direction, the mass of the body and the acceleration of the frame. Understood? So if you say this is mg downwards. This is mg downwards. There is a normal contact force in this direction. So if you draw the incline, so this is theta. Normal contact force will be perpendicular to the incline, no? See, this is your incline, this is your block. So this will be the normal contact force, no? 90 degrees. Understood, no? So the normal contact force in this direction, and there is a pseudo force acting in this direction. Okay? So this is theta means this is theta. This is theta means this is 90 minus theta. So again, this is theta. Is it okay? So again, for this particular person, this body is at rest. So he has applied all the forces, he has applied the pseudo force also, so he can use the Newton's law now. So what will happen is, again the same answer will come, n cos theta is equals to mg, and n sin theta is equals to m into a. Okay, so tan theta, n sin theta comes here, right? No, this is n cos theta comes here, n sin theta comes here. So n sin theta is equals to ma, and n cos theta is equals to mg. Understood, no? A by g. Understood? So if the angle of the incline is such that the tan inverse is a by g, that incline is not going to fall down. Understood? So this is how you use the the non-inertial frame sometimes. Okay, so now, if the body is moving, the body in the question is moving with a non-inertial frame, then it's always easy to use the non-inertial frame itself. Okay, so if some body is already hanging from the ceiling here and not from the car, then it's always useful with the inertial frame. So we need not sit inside the car and unnecessarily apply a pseudo force. Okay, because if you sit inside the car and see, the acceleration will be in this direction, in the opposite direction, and then you have to apply a pseudo force also. Okay, so that there will be a lot of difficulties. Okay, so this is how you make the questions in non-inertial frame also. Okay, so now this chapter is almost complete. Almost complete means everything is complete in this chapter. Okay, so you have to solve all the questions in this chapter. You must have already solved most of the questions. Okay, so you have to complete this chapter fully, and you have to be serious. Hurry. Okay, so I should be interested in teaching. Okay, so because I cannot go on teaching small questions and very easy questions and all. So I will also get interest if I move on to some harder numericals and maybe to JEE advanced level. Then we will be actually interested in giving you classes. Okay, so you have to work hard and you have to be sincere. Then only we'll take further classes. You try to solve all the questions. Whatever you have not solved, at least you solve those questions. You try to make a book, make a notebook, proper notebook. Understood? No, with properly solving all the questions one by one. Okay, so that you can refer it also sometimes. So try to make a notebook. Whichever sums you have not solved already, you need to solve those. I need a notebook with all the sums, chapter wise. Okay, so properly solving all the questions. So you solve this chapter fully. Okay, and then we'll proceed to the friction. Okay, understood? No, so I want you to solve all the questions in this. So I want you to show me I mean solutions of most of the questions by the next class. Okay, so work hard, and you need to work only for maybe next 3 4 chapters only. All other chapters are very easy. Okay, so this mechanics only is the toughest part. Everything is easy, all chapters are easy except this mechanics. Yeah, they will ask electrostatics and I mean magnetism, everything they will ask. The thing is mechanics will be like all related, so most of the 6 7 8 chapters, everything included, they will ask some questions. So mechanics will also be a huge part. Okay, and maybe electrostatics or somewhere if they are asking questions from magnetism also, they may include mechanics there, because there also movements come. So they may include mechanics there. So you need to know all those things. And to understand all any other chapters, you need to understand these chapters initially, because the circular motion again comes in electrostatics. So the circular motion, the movement of charges in a circle, those things will again come back in electrostatics, magnetism. So mechanics will be everywhere. If you see fluid mechanics, again it will come. If you see your geometric optics and all, there what they will do is they will move this. They will start moving the mirrors itself with accelerations, and then they will find the acceleration. They will ask you the acceleration of the images. So again, this mechanics will be everywhere. So you need to first complete this mechanics first, and this is the most toughest one. And after this, there is nothing in physics. Everything is theory, most of them. Okay, so you need to work hard, and I will be like getting some interest only if you do some sums. Okay, and be sincere in this. All right, Hari. So next class, don't let me down. You need to do it properly. Okay. Bye. Then we'll see you in the next class. Okay. Okay. Bye. Bye.